Mike King Biz, the premier business media brand covering and connecting Central Virginia. It's home to Mike King Biz Radio, producer of On the Mic with Mike RVA, which airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3 FM, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Follow Mike King Biz for the best business-ish content in RVA.
In the neighborhood where you ended up at, or that was just bigger than Christmas?
It was not terribly far off. I had 650, yeah. It was a range, but it did not have a B. It had an M, but it was over the 500 million mark.
Okay, that's close.
Yeah.
That's in the area code.
Yes, yes.
It's a very nice area code.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All righty, Chris Winslow. So as I said, I was at home, and I see you with that smile on your face, you and the governor, announcing the deal. And I want to know, so everybody who's somebody in business all of a sudden went to that Google machine and tried to figure out where Chesterfield was. Nothing personal, but where is Chesterfield and how did they pull this off?
Well,
there you go.
Thank you, Mike. And first, I will say to Jennifer's point, we in Chesterfield will accept millions or billions. So I just want to put that out there.
There's no discrimination there.
This afternoon, I want there to be anything missing on that. So, I mean, I don't think it's any secret that we are the fourth largest locality in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I don't know if too many people know that, but we are, we've been, I guess, a little bit of a sleeping giant. But one of the big things that we have to do, and my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors are here, and I want to recognize them because each of them represents their districts with dignity and integrity and a lot of hard work, and I appreciate you all so much. But we work as a team to bring economic development and opportunity to each and every citizen, and that is a core function of government, and it's something that, as somebody who grew up in a single-wide trailer in Wycomico Village in Gloucester County, I can tell you is extremely important. We want to bring opportunity to every single household, and that, you know, we do. We take that very seriously. With that said, my small piece in this is small, and that is to sit with Garrett Hart and the Secretary of Commerce and the COO of LEGO and, of course, Governor Youngkin, and to hash out the incentive package that was going to be on the local level. It shouldn't surprise anyone in this room that every single Board of Supervisors in America wants to be Chesterfield for this deal.
Yes, sir.
And that should not be lost on anyone, certainly not lost on me. And so, knowing that they were across the table a few months ago as we sat there to finalize that incentive package, there was no pressure at all to getting that right and to making sure that at the end of the day they were happy. This is LEGO's first U.S. Factory, and so they have a factory in Mexico. And this is it. Chesterfield County will be their home. And when you think about the ripple effects of that on our local economy, in terms of other businesses wanting to come here, when you look at what that's going to have on the effective household income, opportunities for our students at our elementary, middle, and high schools, I'm thinking of tech training, all of it. It is decades upon decades of opportunity that has landed here. And so you don't get stingy with incentive agreements with something like that on the other side of the table. Finally, I'll just say one thing, and I'll pass it on here, and that is that there's a man named Sonny Curran who was a supervisor in Chesterfield many moons ago on the Board of Supervisors. And he understood the value of Meadowville, where LEGO is going. He understood what Meadowville could be and understood that he needed to get behind it because it meant vast amounts of land zoned industrial is an absolute critical component to why we got LEGO. And that decision and his decision to go door to door and get behind that and lead from the front 30 some odd, you can correct me, Garrett, about the exact year, 30 some odd years ago, is why we're here. One of the reasons why we're here today. Some of these deals take a long time to, to get going. But if you want to start and chart the start of this, that's where it all started. And so we do owe that Board of Supervisors some thanks for their vision. And just to connect that into your Upper Magnolia piece that was rezoned earlier this year.
Really quickly, when you look at something like that, you have to have the vision, and you have to have the person that they're selling the vision. What did it take to make that happen? Because you're selling to, I guess, the constituents something that's going to go possibly 30 years down the road. There's a long time before he was knocking on the door that you guys are standing there saying, this is the reason why we were knocking on the door 30 years ago.
That's a really good question, and I think it takes someone who understands business and understands that things. Well, the only constant we all have is change, but that boards of supervisors in our 4-year terms that we have, we can either take the ball and move it forward, or we can be parochial and look at our own areas and our own neighborhoods and not think about the county as a whole. And so I do think it takes that county-wide perspective, but then also our regional partners and working with GRP and our state partners at BDP and others, where we have to say, okay, we're not just expanding the pie for citizens here. We're expanding the pie for everybody in the region, because there's not one kid in the region who's not going to be excited about LEGO coming here. And that excitement will translate to their parents and their grandparents and all of those opportunities that come. So I do think it takes a grander vision.
Opening day for the LEGO facility, what do you guys foresee that to be?
I believe we have a groundbreaking schedule for September.
Like you say, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to you with that. We're working out those details. So really from the state level, Virginia is known as very friendly for business. You were known as very friendly for business prior to this LEGO announcement. All right, the floor is yours. What happened after that was made?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. I'm Vince Barnett, the Senior Vice President of the Business Investment Division at BDP, and we are kind of where the rubber hits the road in terms of exactly what this panel is up here talking about. We have a team dedicated to finding new opportunities, lead generations, how we refer to it. We have offices in Europe, Seoul, in Tokyo, and we're constantly out trying to find new opportunities to be able to partner with folks on the panel here. And economic development is truly, truly a team sport. It sounds like a cliche, but ultimately deals get closed at the local level. So many times leads start at the top of the funnel with us, but ultimately these companies, particularly in the international space, they're finding new places to live, move some of their families, people to locate, raise children, and ultimately that all gets solved at the local level. So yes, our perception, Virginia's perception as a business-friendly state, we've been ranked in most of the national business rankings right at the top of the list for many years. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that process. We have, Jen mentioned the consultants, they play a key role. We have an initiative where we target roughly about 200 of the top consultants, where we're out attending events, we're calling on their offices, we're doing all these various things so that we can get those phone calls. And in this particular case, when the calls came into both the state and to the region, they had down selected, but they had not only down selected to Richmond. So there were other regions in the state that were under consideration, and it all circles back to what Chair Winslow was saying, the foresight, and what Matt was saying around Upper Magnolia. 30 years ago when Meadowville Park was starting its vision, these projects are coming to us with very defined needs, and those communities who have those that can meet the timeline, and that's the key here. From the pandemic, these timelines have been condensed drastically. So those communities that have prepared and had the foresight to invest long-term, and although it was 30 years for this project, Meadowville's done really well prior to this particular project.